Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy. I got Bailey right here beside me this morning. Yeah, he likes to come for morning coffee. So I guess I should start out with the Fritzy report this morning. When I went to visit her yesterday, she was lounging in the group living room. I say lounging because she was literally laying out on a chair with her feet up on a giant hassock, whatever you call those things, covered in her new Mother's Day soft yellow blanket. And she just looked so regal. I took a bunch of pictures. I think I'll post some later. She looked so cute with her permanent and her smile. And she was laying there smiling. And when I walked up, it was like this. I mean, I couldn't tell whether she'd seen a ghost or she was just delighted to see me, but one way or the other, I gotta tell you, even with my mask on, all she kept telling me was, "Oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you're so pretty." Just like a mom is supposed to do, right? It was great. It was great. Of course, that was pretty much her whole conversation. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, if that's gonna be your whole conversation, it's nice to be at the receiving end of that, don't you think? So I cleaned the casita yesterday. Got down on my hands and knees and scrubbed the floors, and I didn't vacuum the couches. I probably should, but I didn't. Good morning, Opa. Lovely to see you here. Today is Alcohol Anonymous Founders Day. Dr. Robert Smith and William Wilson. Didn't they refer to him as Bill all the time? I thought they did. Um, I have a friend who was in Alcoholics Anonymous about 40 years ago. And to support him, I used to go to meetings with him now and then. He's still a dear friend and he's still clean and sober. Certainly worked for him. That's all I can tell you. Another friend who was in Alcoholics Anonymous and another friend, couple of friends who were in Marijuana Anonymous. There's a lot of anonymous groups. The whole idea seems to work. The idea that it's one day at a time and that it's bigger than you are and that you're surrounded by friends to support you. I get high with a little help from my friends. I get by with a little help from my friends. I get clean and sober with a little help from my friends. Yeah, okay. So happy Founders Day. It's also ballpoint pen day. I love ballpoint pens, but apparently it was like a big deal when they first came out with the mechanism to do a ballpoint pen instead of a fountain pen. Doesn't write as well though. Oh, somebody's a little sleepy this morning. Sorry. Um, oh, it's Herbs and Spices Day. Yeah, we used to say that the only herbs and spices in our house were salt, pepper, and occasionally paprika. And garlic. I like garlic. Now we have this like huge array of spices, and we're always arguing over whose spices should be at the front because there's certain ones that he uses all the time and certain ones that she uses all the time. And maybe we should get dueling spice racks. I don't know. Maybe that would help. What else do I have here? Oh, it's National Black Cow Day. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I've never actually had a black cow because a black cow is a combination of root beer and vanilla ice cream. And I've never had root beer. Well, I might have tasted it once. I don't recall. But I drink Diet Coke. That's it. That's the only soft drink I drink. I've not even tasted any of those other ones, except occasionally when I was sick and I was a kid, I had ginger ale, to burp or whatever. But I didn't eat black cows. Good morning, Ginny. Isn't that funny how I wave over to where the chat box is? Hi, like you're sitting over there. I used to love brown cows. Brown cows are vanilla ice cream in Pepsi or Coke. In my case, in Diet Coke. I loved brown cows. I loved them. Yeah, still do. just so fizzy and yummy and okay, maybe that's a good thing for a hot day. Yeah, baby. It's also National Iced Tea Day, another good thing for a hot day. Do you do sun tea? I love sun tea, although somebody told me it's not really healthy because you could get all kinds of, I don't know. I don't care what they say. I grew up drinking sun tea. I will keep drinking sun tea. And I like it because it's just like so easy, like get a big container of water, throw in a bunch of tea bags, stick it outside. You don't even have to put it in the sun. If it's just sitting there, it's going to make tea anyway. I don't know. I like iced tea with a whole lot of ice cubes. Not with lemon. Sorry, not my favorite taste. It's Prince Philip's birthday. Well, it would have been. He would have been 100 today, but he died when he was 99. Remember, he died just a few weeks ago. I didn't watch The Crown. Now I'm kind of sorry because I would like to know about the courtship of Philip and the Queen. Apparently, they got together in like 1947, and by 1952, her father had died, and she became queen, and he was the prince, and blah, 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 blah. But he was the Duke of Edinburgh. Everything I read said that he was her husband since 1947, but the monarch's consort since 1952. I always thought consort was kind of like concubine, I thought it was like kind of a socially incorrect thing to be, but apparently it's good to be a consort. Well, it wasn't his case. He stayed consorting for quite a long time. Yeah, he did. And then they had this kid right about the same time I was born, and I thought he was kind of a jerk. But he did marry Diana. Anyway, so back to Prince Philip. I'm listening. I think I mentioned a couple of times that because I drive back and forth so much to LA, I spend a lot of time in the car. So I like to listen to books on CDs, books on tape, I guess they're audibles. I don't know. Anyway, the book I'm listening to right now is called The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. It takes place in England back around the time that Philip married the then princess. And one of the heroines of this story, Oz, was dating a prince named Philip. And I realized about a third of the way into the book that this prince is the Prince Philip. Like, for real. I got to find out more about this because apparently he was in a pretty hot and heavy relationship with someone else before he ended up marrying the Queen, who in the book at least is a very, very distant cousin. He used to think of her as little Lisbeth or something like that. Which, what made me think about it is Harry and Meghan had their second child, and Lisbeth is Lilibeth. That's what it was. Lilibeth is her name, or something like that. And that's what the Prince Philip in this book referred to his little cousin Elizabeth as Littlebeth, I guess. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting and fun when that falls into place. It's also Judy Garland's birthday. I loved Judy Garland when I was a little kid because she was little and she was spunky and she was, besides being in The Wizard of Oz, besides being Dorothy, she was in all those all those Mickey Rooney movies, and she was like, spunky, and I just really liked her. Then when I was a teenager, my brother and a friend of ours were at Pacific Ocean Park in Santa Monica on the pier. We were there for the day to have a good time, go on roller coasters. We were just happy as can be. And who do we see walking right down the fairway but Judy Garland, who had with her a number of children. I'm assuming Lorna Luft and Liza Minnelli. I mean, I'm assuming they were her kids with her because she was just acting like a doting mom with these kids who were about our age, which would make sense. And we got so excited that we went running over to get her autograph and meet her. And instead of saying, gee, not right now, kids, sorry, I'm having a family day, she said, why do you kids keep bothering me? Get out of here. Leave me alone. I mean, she like yelled at us and she was mean and nasty. And that wasn't the Judy Garland that I saw in the movies. And it made me really, really sad. Really did. Okay, but here's someone who couldn't make you sad. Could not. Hattie McDaniels. She lived from 1895 to 1952. Happy birthday. She was the first African-American woman to win an Academy Award. And she won it for the role she played of Mammy in Gone with the Wind. I don't know if that would be a politically correct role to play anymore, but she was awesome in it. I mean, who didn't want to have Mammy in their life after seeing her in that? In 2006, they even did a 39-cent stamp with a picture of her on it, but not like dressed as Mammy, dressed up in her gown that she wore to accept her Academy Award. I thought that was kind of cool. 2007 was the finale for The Sopranos. Did you watch The Sopranos? I remember thinking that The Sopranos was pretty violent until I saw Game of Thrones. I am obsessed with Game of Thrones. I think I mentioned at least 11 times that we're watching it here, going back through it for like the, I don't know, second, third time. And I read all the books. But it's so amazing that each episode we watch, we see things that we did not remember from seeing them before. I don't think they've added anything new to the DVDs, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Janis Joplin did her first live concert on this very day in 1966. Where were you? I know. Some of you weren't even born. I was in high school. Yeah. Graduated in 67. And I had long, straight hair. And I was a little like Janis Joplin. And somebody told me that they thought I looked like Janis Joplin. I never got that at all. Okay, but this was cool. In 1978, Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta, Sandy and Danny, you're the one that I want. Ooh, 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 ooh. They did You're the One That I Want. It became a big hit. And I kind of, okay, I'm not going to lie. I liked it. I loved the movie. I loved the movie. My daughter watched it again because it was her favorite movie when she was a kid. She watched it again as an adult, and she called me and she said, Mom, I just watched Grease. Was that an appropriate movie for a little kid to watch? I don't think so. There was a lot of inappropriate stuff going on in there. Yeah, well, maybe it was, but the music was great, wasn't it? And I met Olivia Newton-John, who was as delightful and warm and sweet as her character, Sandy. And I met John Travolta, who was a total dick. Go figure. But I've given you those stories before. I'll give you them again sometime, but not right now. All I can tell you is loved him, loved her, hated him. That's all I can tell you. 1845. Oh, Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson's funeral in 1845. Why did I write this down? Because this was so bizarre. At the funeral itself, his parrot, Paul, was at the funeral, and the parrot started screaming and yelling profanities so loudly that they had to exit the parrot from the funeral. I thought that was, like, really? Your parrot? Really? They have to kick out your parrot? They should have, no, I was going to say they should have buried the parrot with him, but no, the parrot was still alive. I don't know how long the parrot lived. Also died on this day in 2004, Ray Charles, Brother Ray, the genius. Yeah, what did he do? Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. I can't stop loving you. And Georgia on my mind. I mean, come on. Now, didn't you think that Ray Charles was born blind? I mean, I never saw him without the glasses. Did you? Well, of course we wouldn't, but apparently he was not born blind. But as a baby or as a small child, he had, like, they think, a glaucoma, and he could see until he was like 6 or 7 years old. And then 7 years old, he went completely blind. But it didn't affect his voice at all, did it? Mm-mm. Oh, what else? Gordie Howe. Oh, hockey player. Yeah, he was Mr. Hockey. He was the only player in the history of hockey to have played in 5 decades. Yeah, that's it. 5 decades. The 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. Gordie Howe. We used to do balloon decorating for the LA Kings. So we got to meet all of the Luke, whatever his name was, and Wayne Gretzky. And we get autographed pucks and autographed sticks, and I don't have any of them anymore. But boy, those were the days. And we used to get to go to all the hockey games and see all the excitement. Oh, hockey is such an exciting sport. A little bit on the violent side. And one of my favorite memes is, yeah, I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. Lots of fighting in hockey games. Almost as much fighting as going to the fights. Boom, boom. Yeah, people do get upset at each other. What else? Oh, Spencer Tracy. How could you not love Spencer? Okay, I loved Spencer Tracy because he reminded me of my dad. That's the truth. That white hair. My dad had pure white hair too. Guess who's coming to dinner? Spencer Tracy. Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. They were like in movies together forever. The ones from the early 40s. Oh my God, they're so awesome. They're so cute together. Spencer Tracy. Okay, that's all I can say. Love Spencer Tracy. Love him. Also honoring Louis L'Amour or Louis L'Amour. I don't know how you say it. He's the guy who wrote all those cowboy novels. I didn't read any of them, but I do like cowboy shows. So maybe I would enjoy this. Yes. Yes. His speech at the end of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Wow. It's worth it. You know what? Now I have to see that movie again. Oh, and Catherine Ross is in it. She's the daughter, and Sidney Poitier. And Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Put it on your list. It's a good rewatch. I'm sure you probably saw it, but it's a great rewatch. All right. Today's word art. Today's word art is, did you realize that trying and doing are not the same thing? You can't try. There was an experiment that I think, what's his name? I think it came out of the S training, but it's generally credited to wow. I just totally went blank. The guy that would have you walk on burning stones. I did that, by the way. Tony Robbins. Yeah. I did a Tony Robbins seminar, and I walked on the burning coals, and it was pretty cool, I have to admit. But I also did the S training in the forum and all those other things back in the 60s and 70s. Anyway, there was this thing about trying and doing before Yoda, by the way. So I'm guessing maybe the Yoda thing came out of that. I'm guessing, because Yoda did a whole thing with Luke, and you can't try, you can only do. So the experiment was, they would call someone up to the front of the room, set a chair on the stage, just an empty chair, and say to the person, okay, try to pick up the chair. And the person would go over and lift up the chair. And they go, no, that was lifting the chair. Try to pick up the chair. So the person would go over and pretend it was really hard. No, that was lifting the chair. Show me trying to pick up the chair. And that, by the way, was the proof that you can't try. You can only do. Yeah. So here's what I want to say. If by trying, you mean thinking about it first and coming up with a plan of how to do it, you can try. If you mean by trying, you mean getting ready, like physically preparing yourself and mentally preparing yourself for whatever it is you're going to do, okay, I'll buy that. And finally, if by trying, you mean get started, I'll buy that. But beyond those three things, nope, it's not trying. It's not trying. It's beginning. It's starting. It's doing. You can't try. Usually when we say, I don't know if I can, but I'll try, we've already decided that we can't or we're not going to. It's a great, great way to just say, well, I tried. A great way to fluff it off when you didn't do what you said you wanted to do or what you were going to do. So today, no trying, okay? Just get into action and do whatever it is. Don't say, I'll try. Say, okay, here's how I'm going to do it. And give it a shot. Do it. Do it. Sometimes we fail, by the way, but it doesn't mean we didn't do it. We gave it everything. So while you're giving it everything, have a sip or a slug or a slurp or whatever you take and a smile. And I'll see you on Friday. Bye-bye.